Hey everyone, welcome back to Wix Fix. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Ryan, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a dynamic copy to clipboard button. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I want to do is add a button to our page. So we're going to come over to add, I'm going to come down to button, and we'll just drag one of these options onto the page. And I'm going to go ahead and change the text to copy recipe name. And then I'm going to go ahead and style it. Now for this tutorial, we are going to be using a little bit of code, and we're going to be using code originally posted by a channel called Wix Ideas. So if you want to use his code, then you can go into the description and copy and paste it. But I'm also just going to show you how to do it, and it's not that hard. But what we're going to do is we want to make sure that dev mode is turned on. So if you don't have that enabled, you can come up to dev mode and you'll see an option to turn on. Then you should get a coding panel that looks like this. But once this is up, we can go ahead and start coding. So what I want to do first is import an API. So we're going to say Wix window from Wix window, just like that. And you'll notice that it is currently grayed out, and that is basically because we have not written any code to reference that API, but we are about to do so. But as soon as we write more code and it references the API, then it will no longer be grayed out. But let's go ahead and move on. The first thing that I want to do is go ahead and grab this button. Let's go ahead and rename this button to copy button, just like that. We're going to come down to the code and let's call the copy button. And we're going to say on click, we want something to happen. And inside this, we want to do a few things. First, let's go ahead and create a variable. What we're going to say is let recipe title equal, and we want it to equal this one right here. So we're going to say title dot text. Perfect. Now underneath this, let's go ahead and say Wix window dot copy to clipboard, and we want to call the recipe title, just like that. But as soon as we click the button, we kind of want something to happen to kind of signal that the copying was successful. So we're going to go to the next line and say dot then. And we're going to create a little mini function here as well. And we're going to say copy button. Dot disable. So we're basically turning it off. And then we're also going to go ahead and change the label as well. So what I'm going to do is grab this copy button, go to the next line and say label. And we're going to say this is going to be equal to copied. Great. Then on the next line, let's go ahead and call a new function called return to default. Now we have not made this function yet. So it's basically going to be red. Now this is currently red, but it's not correct because we renamed this. Sometimes it takes a second when you rename elements for the code to recognize it. But as soon as we press preview and we go ahead and press copy, you'll notice that if I come up to a new bar and paste it in, it's going to say blueberry cheesecake, which is the value of this text element that we are on. So it is working even though the code wasn't initially saying it, but as soon as we enter back into the editor, it should have fixed itself. However, return to default, this function right here is still showing red, and that's still because we haven't created it yet. So what we're going to do is come down to the bottom. We're going to say function return to default, and this is going to be a function. And what we want it to do is say if and we're going to say copy button. So we're going to grab the copy button again. If the copy button is disabled, then we want something to happen. So we're going to come down to the next line and we're going to say set timeout. And we're going to create another little mini function here. And when this timeout is done, we want to enable the button again. So what I'm going to do is grab this little copy button and we're going to enable it. Then we also want the copy button label to return back to copy recipe name. Just like that. And then on the outside of this curly brackets right here, we're going to say comma 1000. And basically what that's saying is we're going to set a timeout of 1 second. So because we put this function here, as soon as we click on the copy button, it's going to copy recipe title, which recipe title is this element right here. And then after that is done, it's going to disable the button and label it to copy. And then it's going to return the default function, which this return to default function is basically saying after 1 second, we want to re-enable the button and change the label back to its original name. So once we go ahead and press preview, once again, we can go ahead and press copy recipe name. After 1 second, it will return to what it was. And we can go to the new tab, paste in our text. Great, that is working. Let's go ahead and go to festival cake. And we'll just try it here as well. We'll copy it. We'll come up to a new tab and paste it in, festival cake. Perfect. But that's basically going to wrap it up for today's video. If you all did enjoy, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel for more Wix and Editor X content coming out really soon. Thank you all again, and I'll see you all in the next one.